What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Man-Made Thoughts. My name is Quatez, and here's another review. Spider-Man Life Story number 6. We finally come to the end, a point that you can't return from. And I gotta say, this was kind of hard. Not hard for me, like, oh no, I'm crying and I can't pull myself together, but more like more like that was that was it, huh? Like I don't know, like you kind of build up this anticipation, some kind of great epic climax, and what you get is a climax, but it's not as it's not as good as you thought it would be, but it's not bad either. Um, and every time I feel that way, I always think about what Thanos said in Infinity War. Reality is oftentimes disappointing, and I wasn't disappointed with it. I just wasn't overwhelmed with it. Like I feel like it was such a strong series, and then I felt like Chip just kind of dropped the ball with the ending. I feel like he wrote his way into a corner. And you know what happens when people write their ways into a corner? Deus ex machina. Do you know? Do you know what that means? Deus ex machina literally is Latin for gods from the machine, and it was a plot device that basically the most ridiculous thing would happen that would get our heroes out of something or to bring about some other thing so that something could happen. All in the name of story. And this ending, this whole comic, this whole issue was literally Deus ex machina. Okay, don't believe me? All right, let's take some looks. So we start off here. This is actually a dream that Peter is actually having about when he failed to stop the guy that would later go on to murder his uncle. And he still feels guilt about it. But, spoiler alert, this is actually a continuing scene, as when we get to the end of the book, we find out that it actually turns out differently because he's been having this dream quite a lot. Which makes me think maybe this whole thing was a dream. But anyway, whatever. Inception, nah. So anyway, we are in 2019 from the last issue, which was 2006. That means that he has had 13 years to actually be with his family, which is actually a really long time for nothing to happen to Pete, because bad things always happen to this guy. He can never go anywhere. Um, and I felt like this was more of a weak issue, not because it's bad, because it's not bad. It's not a bad comic. I just felt like it was weaker than the rest of them. Like I feel like issue 3 was the zenith, and then everything after that was kind of like a mellow point. But um, you know, he's in his 70s, I believe, 72 years old at this point, and things they're going well for him, but he has this one final thing that he has to do, and that will complete everything. Like he is humanity's pretty much their last hope, and he even tells you this, you know. But who does he decide to take? Who is this black fella right here? Of course, it's Miles Morales. Nothing wrong with him, but he's underutilized here in this issue. And here's a scene that like just got me. Like, you know, red, black jacket, okay. Whoa, the colorist messed up on his own page because now he's here in a gray jacket. And I could see if you said, hey, that's Peter Parker or something, but it's not because he's wearing a red jacket too. So, anyway, minor art quibbles aside, um, we get some interesting monologue in here from Peter trying to talk to Miles, but Miles just isn't having it, just not. And remember what I said about this being like Mark Bagley's favorite thing to draw? This hand with a bite. I could swear he loves to draw that hand with a bite. He probably didn't even draw it. He probably drew it once, and the colorist or whoever does the layouts, he probably was like, hey, I'm just gonna copy this, man. Like, I'm gonna copy it ad infinitum. Everything you do is gonna have a spider bite on it. But anyway, they have to go into space because I mean, I don't even know why, except for basically the Civil Wars. They're still going on, and Doctor Doom took the perfect opportunity to fight, like just destroy the heroes while they were pretending to be villains by fighting each other. The most unheroic thing in the world. So anyway, uh, Victor Von Doom came through and just like laid waste to all the heroes. So we find this out through Pete, who tells you right here, I'm the leader of the resistance now, by virtue of age and experience, I guess. But this new generation of heroes, like Miles and Claire and Kamala, are so much more put together than I was at their age. Pause. Pause. Now, this is where it jumps into that whole, this is unearned. This is, and you're going to see this. Literally, this is like this issue was trying to say, well, Peter has to die, and therefore, like, there's only one way out of this situation, and Miles Morales has to take it. And if you thought, if you thought, how are they going to get out of this one? Well, whatever you think is exactly how the comic ends. It literally ends the same way you think. And there's little monologues peppered in here the whole time. And anyway, let's get back to the story. So anyway, they're working on this doowacky thing, the component, and they're talking, and Peter's just like, you talk different. You're not talking like Miles. And he's like, come on, Parker, get it together. He's like, Parker? You normally call me Peter. So, they decide, okay, I'm going to keep an eye on you. I'm going to go running through this dark thing, and yeah, we're gonna see this thing through. So, they're in space, and then what do you know? Their jet thing blows up the only way off. So, okay, now you know. You're pretty much feeling the same way that everybody else is feeling this. But, let's take a pause. Let's take a break just for 1 minute. Let's see that Peter with Dad bod, no, Grandpa bod is still infinitely well built. Still looks like he could beat you up. He still looks like a man. He could be like 32 with his body, and he still looks like he's a fighter. Granted, I don't really like this suit because I get it, it's supposed to be like a space Spidey suit, but it comes off as like, like Gohan in Dragon Ball Super, he wears the tracksuit, and you just know that his life has just gone way downhill from the last time. Like when he beat Cell, he was wearing the Piccolo, like the Demon King Piccolo outfit. Like you didn't want to mess with him with the little Namekian shoes and the cape, but as he got older, he just lost that stuff, and he had the spandex with the tunic, and then he went trying to wear like the turtle gi from his dad, and then then he goes to wearing a tracksuit to fight against freedom and stuff, and it's just like, this is how far you've fallen. Like this is where we're at right now. And anyway, so Peter's hearing noises. And he can't feel anything. He's trying to rely on his spider sense because he's old now. He can't just like react. His body doesn't move the same way that it did. And so he's getting taunted in the dark. Peter Parker, we told you once. And then, surprise, Deus Ex Machina. This is the first incidence of Deus Ex Machina because at the end of 4, I believe, we got treated to, Craven and a symbiote potentially wrapping itself around him as he tried to kill himself. But now we got long-haired Venom with a vest. A vest. You know what? I remember when we used to draw Sonic comics in my when I was in 8th grade, and my friend, he used to draw Sonic in a vest, and I'd always ask him, why is Sonic wearing a vest? And he was like, because he's tight like that. There is no reason for this vest other than just say, I am Craven. Why would a symbiote need clothes and hair? Like, I know what they're trying to do. But it just seems like one of those like 90s depictions, like it's extreme, and everything has to go in this absurd way, like you have to know what it is. But anyway, we get a pretty cool fight scene. I actually was worried about Peter because you get your eyes gouged out on the suit and everything, gets the mask punched out of like the helmet punched off his face and everything. And so, here comes Miles Morales. And this is the most Jason scene I've ever seen in my life. I remember one Jason movie where he picked the guy up and crushed his head. This is exactly what, like, I was like, oh man, Miles is gonna get his head rocked. Like he's getting his head bust to the white meat show. And I was legitimately like, man, he's gonna die in the comic that he was just introduced in. This is worse than Ben Reilly. At least he actually had a, hey Peter, bye Peter. No, this guy, he didn't even get to make any jokes. He just gets his head bust. But no, then we get the burning finger from Peter Parker, and then he blows him up. Convenient plot device number 2, But I understood it because Peter's not the same guy he used to be, so he's not gonna be able to, fight, go toe to toe and all that stuff. So he has to use gadgetry. Green Lantern pose. All right, everybody gets one, right? So anyway, then they fight because he figures out, spoiler alert, Dr. Otto Octavius, he's taking the scene from, Amazing Spider-Man 700, where he switched bodies with Peter Parker and Pete left Peter in his old dying body. Well, yeah, apparently it happened to Miles. He took Miles Morales' body, and now Peter has to fight him, and they fight, It's not really a remarkable fight. It's really not. This is more like a emotional fight than a thing. Then here's Deus Ex Machina number 4, maybe? They mind meld. They fight inside of their head. This is literally like the Matrix. And then, he's like, oh, it's simple, Parker. I'm going to destroy your mind. This brilliant disciple of Reed Richards, of Miles Warren, of Norman Osborn. I'm not going to take over your brain like I did with young Miles. I'm going to pound it into dust. And he's got all his dudes with him, his boys and squad. And then this doesn't make any sense. This doesn't make any sense at all. Peter says, you and what army? Okay, I understand. You and what army? He's already seen the boys. He's seen the gang. He's seen the squad. But yet, out of nowhere, boom. Like, was there a page in between that we did not see? That all the Spider-Mans, in his mind you, they're fighting. And I thought it was cool. But at the same time, this doesn't make any sense. You and what army? Why is he yelling this? This seems like Doc Ock should say this to Peter, and then all the other spiders should jump out and start punching and kicking people. But I don't get my way. So anyway, they're fighting. Get ready for I'm gonna Deus Ex Machina number 6. Aunt May, out of nowhere, calms the savage beast. All right, I'm gonna skip some pages for the copyright claims, but so anyway, they fight and they're fighting, and wouldn't you know it? Oh no, there's only one escape pod left, and guess who gets it? Yeah, that's right, Miles Morales. And this is why, what I was thinking when I first read this is why Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Because what makes a hero? Literally, what makes a hero? Is it someone who just willingly sacrifices himself for the greater good of everybody else? Because if that's what your answer of a hero is, that's literally what Peter Parker is. He could have saved himself. Even Doc Ock is like inside of Miles Morales' body. He's like, no, I can get out of here. I have the power to do this. And he's like, no, no, I can't let you sacrifice a life that's not your own. Which is not really saying that he could have got out, but he probably could have. And what about this symbiont that he blew up, you know? Couldn't it just kind of reassemble itself? Like so many crazy things. But, you know, Peter's trying to do all that he can. Like he's struggling. This is a desperate struggle scene here. And he's trying all he can. But then we get another thing that I really don't understand, but I understand why it's there. This is an impactful scene. This is powerful right here. But I don't understand it. Like I don't get it. It looks cool, but I don't get it. And then this is what makes me think that this whole thing was a dream. That it was all a dream. You know, as Biggie said. Because he literally starts the comic. He ends the comic the same way that he started the comic, in a dream. And it makes me think that what if he was laying in bed with Mary Jane the whole time and he just was telling her about this crazy dream that he had about what would happen if he was an old man and you know, things like happen, like if his life was to just go on throughout and he's just living his life out, what would happen? But I love this. I love this scene though. This look on his face of just completion. You know, he's done it all. He's done everything he needs to do. But I do not like the "you're in my jackpot." I think it's a little bit much. Maybe if he just would have said, you know what, I've had a good run or something Spidey. But I understand why they said it. They had to bring everything full circle, and then kaboom, you get an off-screen death, an ambiguous death scene. Fade to black. Not gonna ruin the ending, but it's kind of unearned. Because then you go to like, hey guys, you know, this guy here, you already know that Miles Morales survived, and you know, they were like, oh, it's Peter Parker, Spider-Man's funeral, and yeah, you're not gonna go, and I'm not gonna kill you because you're not bad. But anyway, I'll just leave you with this picture here. So yeah, that was the issue. But this is the dream. This is literally the dream. Like he was trying to tell her in the beginning, hey, this is the dream I had. Like, I know I'm haunted by this image, but this time it's different because I actually stop him from doing it instead of holding it against myself that I didn't do anything. Because that's kind of like been the running theme is that he's just been he's been holding all this in this whole time, and now he's finally reached catharsis. Like he's finally got to that point where he can forgive himself for what happened, for not doing any action. And the whole theme is it cost him everything. It cost him his life, cost him his wife, cost him his kids. All he wanted to do was pretty much just do the right thing, and since he didn't do it the one time, it cost him. Actions have consequences. But I feel like the ending wasn't earned for Peter. Like I know it's a space explosion and him saving somebody else and all the crazy stuff that happened with the genjutsu and all that stuff. Peter kind of deserves better than to die in a vacuum of space with a bomb. Like I think we can all agree on that, and I feel like Chip Zdarsky wrote himself in a corner, and there was nowhere for him to go. Like I said, of course, there's only one escape pod. Of course, he had to be the one that could hold it all down. They probably could have, like, well, maybe they couldn't, because the thing was going critical. But you have a scientific genius, Otto Octavius, inhabiting Miles Morales' body. Then you have um, you have the symbiote, which is clearly still there on the ground, just like with bones and all that stuff. You have that. He could have just absorbed it. Spidey's been in space more than one time. He could have easily just got the symbiote dipped on him and then just like put the suit on him. They would have probably contained the blast or anything because I don't know. Maybe the blast didn't put out any sonic sounds or anything, but I don't know. I don't know, man. Like, all I know is this one wasn't as good as the issue before it, and that wasn't as good as the issue before that. But 3 was the best issue of the whole run. I feel like we can all agree on that. It had everything that you need in a comic. It had the drama, it had the tension, it had real life relatable stuff. But then you throw Spidey in space, and it's just like you're not trying to write a Spider-Man story. You're trying to tell the story. You're trying to hand his torch off to some other guy so he can do a wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Like, hey, we're gonna escort the age of Miles Morales in here. Even Peter's like, Kamala Khan, she's built differently. No, she's not. She's a goofball. She's a dweeb. Like, and I hate to use that word because she's not cool enough to even be called a dweeb. But like, because her writing is just not that great. But for him to be like name dropping these people when he is one. Look, man, there's a reason why Spider-Man's an Avenger, not an Avenger in training, not on the Champions, not on any other like B-level group. Spider-Man's earned his way. He's probably the most popular character in all of Marvel. Everybody knows the spider symbol. Everybody says my spider sense is tingling. Like, you can go anywhere in the world with a Spider-Man mask and probably people won't be afraid of you. But if you try to cosplay as Kamala Khan, people are gonna be like, who is that? I don't know. And so, like, him name dropping them just kind of hurts his own legacy in his own comic book. But at the same time, I can understand. He's old, but I would have liked it. You know how, like, Uncharted 4, that it was called A Thief's End, and you're just kind of waiting to see if Nathan Drake dies at the end, which, spoiler alert, he does not. But you would think, because all the crazy things, that the main theme of the game is death, and it's all around you, and no amount of greed, no amount of gold can take back what you really need in life, which is family and the memories that you have. But the greed will consume you, and you'll lose everything and everyone you care about. It's literally what the game was about, and it's called A Thief's End. So I was expecting him to die. I feel like that was his earned ending, with the title like A Thief's End, and the death, the skeletons, the sorrowful theme of not like living up to your potential and wasting your life. I feel like that would have made an impactful ending. And this here, if Peter would have just been like paralyzed, like if he somehow made it out of there, but like their pod like somehow crash landed and it broke his back or something like that, and he was just like a paraplegic or something, and he was like, you know what, I can't do the Spider-Man stuff anymore, and I'm gonna pass the torch off. I feel like that would have been more of a thematic ending for Peter Parker, because at the end of the day, it brings him back full circle. Except instead of him choosing to not do anything, it's literally like, I can't do anything. I can't go on. I cannot be the hero anymore. So I have to find somebody else to do it. Instead of, I'm going to be the hero one last time and die in an ambiguous explosion of death. With a smile on my face. Like, that's somebody who would write something like that, is somebody who's just like, I don't know what I can do with the rest of this story, so I'm going to kill him to usher in a new era. Like Scar trying to kill Mufasa. Like, this is a new era over here, man. And the only way to get this new era is to kill the old era. So, long live the king. But anyway, I know this is a little bit longer and I was rambling and all that stuff, but this cover betrays, well, actually, it doesn't really betray it, but the cover is better than the actual book that it has in it. I loved seeing old man Peter Parker. Maybe Marvel will find some kind of other way. Maybe they'll have another Superman, a Superboy punch where they can bring back realities and different dimensions. Oh, wait, they already do. Anyway, if you like this video, like, share, comment, subscribe. Um, share it with your friends, talk about it, get a dialogue going. Let's let Marvel know that we like the realness. We like these real comics. We like a good story. We don't like things being shoved down our throat because we're just Spidey fans. We care. But anyway, I will see y'all later in another episode. Peace out.